Imagine you're navigating the bustling streets of New York City during rush hour. The air is thick with tension as people jostle past each other, each lost in their own world of stress and anxiety. You can feel the weight of expectations pressing down on you. Deadlines at work, the pressure to maintain relationships, and the constant barrage of information from your phone. In moments like these, it's easy to forget the power we have over our own emotions and reactions. This is where Stoicism comes into play. This ancient philosophy teaches us that while we can't control external events, we can control how we respond to them. The Stoics believed that true freedom comes not from external circumstances, but from within. They encourage us to cultivate a mindset that allows us to maintain our peace of mind, regardless of the chaos around us. It's about shifting our focus from what we cannot change to what lies within our control, our thoughts, beliefs, and actions. As we explore the 7 Stoic strategies designed to help us break free from the chains of modern life, it's essential to recognize the pervasive influence of societal pressures. Whether it's the constant need for validation on social media or the relentless pursuit of success, we often find ourselves reacting to external stimuli, allowing our happiness to be dictated by outside forces. This cycle traps us in a state of emotional turmoil, where we're left feeling powerless and anxious. Stoicism offers a path to liberation. By embracing its teachings, we can learn to accept life's uncertainties without resistance. For instance, when faced with a challenging work project or a difficult conversation with a loved one, instead of succumbing to fear or frustration, we can choose to approach these situations with a calm and rational mindset. Epictetus, a prominent Stoic philosopher, famously stated, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This simple yet profound insight is the cornerstone of Stoic thought and serves as a reminder that we possess the power to shape our experiences. The 7 Stoic strategies we will discuss in this video are not just theoretical concepts. They are practical tools that can be applied to everyday life. Each strategy provides unique insights into how we can cultivate resilience, embrace acceptance, and find joy amid the inevitable challenges we face. From learning to endure pain to choosing our emotional responses, these principles help us build a strong foundation for a fulfilling life. As we venture into the world of Stoicism together, keep in mind that this philosophy is not about suppressing emotions or denying our humanity. Rather, it encourages us to face our feelings head-on, to understand them, and to learn from them. The Stoics understood that pain and difficulty are integral parts of the human experience, but they also recognized our capacity for growth and transformation. By adopting a Stoic mindset, we can learn to navigate the complexities of modern life with grace and confidence. So, as we embark on this journey through the wisdom of Stoic philosophy, prepare yourself to explore these strategies that can lead to a life of greater freedom and fulfillment. Together, we will uncover the keys to breaking free from the chains of the world and embracing a life of true tranquility. Radical acceptance. Be cheerful no matter what happens. Imagine you're stuck in a traffic jam on the Los Angeles freeway. You've got an important meeting in 30 minutes and the minutes tick by painfully slowly. Frustration bubbles up as you grip the steering wheel, feeling every bit of your impatience. You start to think about how unfair it is. Why does this always happen to you? In that moment, it's easy to feel like a victim of circumstances, allowing external factors to dictate your emotional state. This scenario is all too familiar for many of us. We often find ourselves hoping for good things to happen while actively fearing the bad. In our desire for control, we expend so much energy trying to manipulate our circumstances that we overlook a fundamental truth: we cannot control everything that happens to us. The Stoics teach us that the only thing we can truly control is our response to these situations. Radical acceptance is a core Stoic principle that encourages us to embrace reality as it is rather than how we wish it to be. It's about letting go of the struggle against the inevitable and finding peace in the face of uncertainty. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus famously said, "Men are disturbed not by things, but by the principles and notions which they form concerning things." This means that our suffering often comes from our perceptions and expectations rather than the actual events themselves. Let's break this down further. When we experience unexpected challenges, like being late to an important meeting, we can choose how to respond. Instead of giving in to frustration, we can remind ourselves that traffic is beyond our control. We can use this time to listen to a podcast, practice deep breathing, or reflect on our goals. By shifting our focus, we take back our power and transform a frustrating situation into an opportunity for growth. Consider the story of Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher. He faced immense challenges, including wars, plagues, and personal losses. Yet, in his meditations, he constantly returned to the idea of acceptance. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." His ability to accept the harsh realities of life while maintaining a sense of inner peace is a testament to the power of radical acceptance. To practice radical acceptance, start by acknowledging your feelings without judgment. If you feel angry or upset about a situation, allow yourself to feel that way. Recognize that these emotions are valid but also temporary. Next, remind yourself of the Stoic teaching that external events are neutral. It's our thoughts about them that create our distress. This can be a powerful reframing of your mindset. For example, let's say you receive criticism at work from your boss. Your initial reaction might be defensiveness or anger. However, if you practice radical acceptance, you could view this feedback as a chance to improve rather than a personal attack. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? This shift not only helps you grow, but also protects your emotional well-being. Another practical approach to radical acceptance is to embrace uncertainty. Life is inherently unpredictable, and trying to control every aspect leads only to disappointment. Instead of fearing the unknown, cultivate curiosity about what the future may hold. This perspective allows you to approach life with a sense of adventure rather than anxiety. Imagine you're applying for a new job. You spend hours preparing your resume and practicing for the interview, but ultimately you cannot control the employer's decision. By accepting this uncertainty, you can approach the interview with confidence and authenticity, knowing that you've done your best. If you don't get the job, rather than succumbing to despair, you can remind yourself that every experience is a stepping stone toward your ultimate goals. To deepen your practice of radical acceptance, consider incorporating daily reflections. At the end of each day, take a few moments to reflect on the events that transpired. What went well? What challenges did you face? How did you respond? This practice allows you to recognize patterns in your reactions and reinforces the idea that you can choose how to respond in the future. Furthermore, remember that radical acceptance doesn't mean passivity. It's not about resigning yourself to a life of suffering or injustice. Instead, it's about acknowledging reality and then deciding how you will act within that reality. For example, if you're facing a difficult relationship, accept that you can't change the other person, but you can control your response. You might choose to set boundaries or seek to communicate openly, focusing on what you can influence. As we navigate life's challenges, it's essential to cultivate a mindset of gratitude. Practicing gratitude can enhance your ability to accept what happens even when it's not what you desire. When you focus on the positive aspects of your life, you create a buffer against the frustration that arises from unmet expectations. For instance, after a long day at work, instead of dwelling on the stressful moments, take a moment to appreciate the supportive colleagues you have, the skills you're developing, or even the simple pleasure of a warm meal waiting for you at home. This practice shifts your perspective from scarcity to abundance, reinforcing your ability to accept life as it is. Incorporating radical acceptance into your daily life can lead to profound changes in your emotional landscape. You'll find that over time, you become less reactive and more resilient in the face of adversity. The chaos of the world may still swirl around you, but you'll learn to navigate it with grace and composure, grounded in the knowledge that your happiness is not contingent upon external circumstances. The journey toward radical acceptance may not be easy, especially in a world that constantly bombards us with messages about control and perfection. However, by embracing the Stoic principle, you can cultivate a sense of freedom that allows you to face life's challenges with a tranquil heart. Ultimately, radical acceptance empowers us to find joy amid uncertainty and chaos. It reminds us that while we cannot dictate what happens, we can choose how we respond. By letting go of the need for control and embracing the flow of life, we can experience true liberation and inner peace. As we move forward, consider how you can apply radical acceptance in your own life. What situations can you reframe? What feelings can you acknowledge without judgment? With these questions in mind, you're ready to take the next step on your Stoic journey. Enduring pain, building mental fortitude in tough times. Imagine you're sitting in a crowded Chicago cafe, your laptop open in front of you, but the words just won't come. You're under pressure to finish a project that's due tomorrow, but every time you try to write, your mind goes blank. The stress is mounting, and with it comes a sense of frustration that threatens to derail your entire day. In that moment, it's easy to feel overwhelmed and defeated. You might think, why does this always happen to me? But what if you could approach this situation not as a victim of circumstance, but as a Stoic warrior? In times of difficulty, the Stoics teach us the importance of endurance. They understood that pain and suffering are inevitable parts of life, but they also recognized our capacity to face these challenges with resilience and strength. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and leading Stoic philosopher, wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." This simple yet profound statement encapsulates the Stoic belief that while we cannot control external events, we can control our responses to them. Endurance is not merely about suffering in silence, it's about actively choosing how to respond to pain and adversity. When faced with difficult situations, whether it's work-related stress, personal loss, or physical discomfort, our instinct may be to seek escape or to complain. However, the Stoics encourage us to embrace these challenges as opportunities for growth. Instead of resisting the pain, we can learn to endure it, transforming our perspective and building mental fortitude in the process. Consider a scenario where you're dealing with a health issue. You've been experiencing persistent pain and it's affecting your daily life. At first, you might feel frustrated and angry, asking yourself why this is happening to you. However, through the lens of Stoicism, you can reframe this situation. Instead of viewing it as a burden, see it as a chance to cultivate resilience. Epictetus, another influential Stoic philosopher, emphasized that we should focus on what is within our control. He stated, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." By acknowledging that you cannot control the pain but can control your response to it, you free yourself from the emotional turmoil that often accompanies suffering. You might choose to seek medical advice, adjust your lifestyle, or explore mindfulness practices to manage your discomfort. This proactive approach empowers you to take charge of your situation, reinforcing your mental strength. One practical way to build endurance is through mindfulness and meditation. These practices encourage us to stay present with our thoughts and feelings rather than becoming overwhelmed by them. When you find yourself in a painful situation, take a moment to pause and breathe. Focus on your breath, allowing yourself to feel the discomfort without judgment. By observing your feelings rather than reacting to them, you can cultivate a sense of calm and clarity that fosters endurance. Let's say you're preparing for a major presentation at work. As the day approaches, anxiety starts to creep in. You worry about how your colleagues will perceive you, and the fear of failure looms large. Instead of succumbing to this fear, practice endurance by reframing your mindset. Remind yourself that the outcome is not entirely within your control. Focus on what you can do, prepare thoroughly, practice your delivery, and remind yourself that it's okay to make mistakes. Recall the words of Marcus Aurelius, who said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." In this light, you can view your anxiety not as a barrier but as a catalyst for growth. Another essential aspect of endurance is embracing discomfort. In our modern world, we often seek comfort and convenience at every turn. However, the Stoics believed that true strength lies in our ability to withstand hardship. When we expose ourselves to discomfort, whether through physical challenges like exercise or mental challenges like public speaking, we build resilience. For example, consider the practice of cold exposure. Many athletes and wellness enthusiasts advocate for cold showers or ice baths as a way to build mental toughness. The initial shock of cold water can be uncomfortable, but by enduring this discomfort, you train both your body and mind to handle stress. This principle extends beyond physical challenges. It applies to emotional resilience as well. When faced with rejection or criticism, we often shy away from the discomfort of vulnerability. However, by embracing these experiences, we can develop a more robust sense of self. Instead of fearing criticism, view it as a chance to learn and grow. Remember what Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." This mastery comes from enduring the difficulties of life and using them as stepping stones toward personal growth. As you cultivate endurance, it's essential to practice self-compassion. In our pursuit of mental fortitude, we can sometimes be overly harsh on ourselves, expecting perfection in every endeavor. Recognize that it's okay to struggle and that facing challenges is part of the human experience. Allow yourself to feel frustration or sadness without judgment. By treating yourself with kindness, you create a supportive internal environment that encourages growth rather than self-criticism. Moreover, seek support from those around you. Stoicism does not advocate for solitary endurance. Rather, it recognizes the importance of community. Surround yourself with people who uplift and encourage you. Share your struggles with trusted friends or family members who can offer perspective and support. Remember that even the strongest among us need a helping hand sometimes. Another Stoic practice is to keep a journal. This can be a powerful tool for building endurance. Write down your thoughts and feelings about the challenges you face. Reflect on how you've responded to difficult situations in the past and what you've learned from them. By documenting your journey, you can identify patterns in your reactions and track your growth over time. This practice reinforces the idea that endurance is not a destination but a continuous process. As you embrace the Stoic philosophy of endurance, recognize that every challenge you face is an opportunity for growth. Each moment of discomfort can teach you something valuable about yourself and your capacity for resilience. In the words of Marcus Aurelius, the things you think about determine the quality of your mind. Your soul takes on the color of your thoughts. By focusing on endurance and embracing challenges, you can cultivate a strong and vibrant mind. Ultimately, the path of endurance is about transforming how we perceive pain and adversity. Instead of viewing them as obstacles, we can learn to see them as essential parts of life that contribute to our growth and development. By adopting a Stoic mindset, we not only build mental fortitude but also foster a deeper appreciation for the journey of life itself. As we move forward in this exploration of Stoic wisdom, consider how you can incorporate these principles of endurance into your own life. What challenges are you currently facing, and how can you reframe your response? With this mindset, you're well equipped to navigate the storms of life with resilience and grace. Responding wisely: how to handle toxic people with grace. Picture this: you're at a networking event in San Francisco, surrounded by people eager to make connections. An acquaintance approaches you, and within minutes, they start criticizing your work and undermining your achievements. You feel a knot tightening in your stomach, your mind racing as you consider how to respond. Do you defend yourself, or do you let their negativity wash over you? In moments like these, it's crucial to remember that how you respond is entirely within your control. The Stoics teach us that our emotional reactions to others are often what bind us to suffering. They emphasize the importance of maintaining our inner peace in the face of external provocations. Epictetus, a prominent Stoic philosopher, famously stated, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This wisdom invites us to reflect on our responses, especially when faced with toxic individuals who seek to provoke or undermine us. When dealing with toxic people, the first step is to cultivate awareness of your emotional triggers. Recognize that their behavior is a reflection of their own struggles, not a commentary on your worth. This understanding can help you detach from their negativity and respond with grace. For instance, consider the colleague who constantly criticizes your ideas in meetings. Instead of reacting defensively, take a moment to breathe and assess the situation. Ask yourself, what is motivating their behavior? Are they feeling insecure or threatened? By reframing your perspective, you can approach the interaction with compassion rather than anger. One effective strategy for handling toxic individuals is to establish boundaries. Boundaries are essential for maintaining your emotional well-being. If someone consistently brings negativity into your life, it's okay to limit your interactions with them. This doesn't mean you have to confront them directly. Rather, you can choose to engage with them less frequently or steer conversations away from sensitive topics. The Stoics understood that our time and energy are precious, and we should protect them from those who drain our spirit. For example, let's say you have a friend who frequently engages in gossip. Each time you meet, the conversation turns negative, leaving you feeling drained. You might decide to set a boundary by suggesting activities that focus on positivity, such as attending a workshop or volunteering together. By redirecting the conversation, you not only protect your energy but also encourage a healthier dynamic in your friendship. Another powerful Stoic principle is the idea of choosing your emotional responses deliberately. When confronted with negativity, you have the power to decide how to react. Instead of allowing someone's harsh words to affect your self-esteem, remind yourself of your strengths and accomplishments. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this and you will find strength. This mindset shift can empower you to rise above the negativity and maintain your confidence. Let's consider a scenario where you receive harsh feedback from your supervisor. Rather than taking it personally, view it as an opportunity for growth. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this feedback? By reframing the situation, you can transform a potentially toxic interaction into a constructive one. This not only protects your emotional well-being, but also contributes to your professional development. In addition to reframing and setting boundaries, practicing empathy can be a powerful tool when dealing with toxic individuals. Empathy allows us to see beyond their behavior and understand the root of their actions. Often, toxic behavior stems from insecurities, fears, or unresolved issues. By recognizing this, you can approach them with compassion rather than hostility. For instance, suppose a family member constantly criticizes your life choices. Instead of feeling hurt, consider what might be driving their behavior. Perhaps they are projecting their own fears or disappointments onto you. By understanding their perspective, you can respond with empathy and assertiveness. You might say, "I appreciate your concern, but I'm happy with my choices. I hope you can respect my decisions." This approach not only reinforces your boundaries but also opens the door for a more constructive conversation. Furthermore, practicing mindfulness can help you remain centered in the face of toxicity. Mindfulness encourages us to stay present and aware of our thoughts and emotions without judgment. When you encounter a toxic person, take a moment to pause and breathe. Observe your feelings without reacting impulsively. This practice can create a space between stimulus and response, allowing you to choose a thoughtful reaction rather than a knee-jerk response. For example, if a colleague makes a snide remark about your work, instead of snapping back, take a deep breath and count to 3. This brief pause can give you the clarity you need to respond calmly. You might choose to say, "I appreciate your feedback. Could you clarify what you mean?" This not only diffuses the tension but also shifts the conversation toward constructive dialogue. Another Stoic strategy is to focus on gratitude. In the face of negativity, cultivate a mindset of appreciation for the positive aspects of your life. Acknowledge the supportive relationships you have, the achievements you've made, and the lessons you've learned. When you approach toxic individuals from a place of gratitude, you're less likely to be affected by their negativity. For instance, let's say you're dealing with a toxic coworker who constantly undermines your ideas. Instead of dwelling on their behavior, reflect on the colleagues who do support you. Remind yourself of the positive feedback you've received and the projects you've successfully completed. This practice can help you maintain your confidence and emotional equilibrium when faced with negativity. Furthermore, remember that you cannot control how others behave, but you can control your perception of their actions. When someone attempts to provoke you, ask yourself, what does this reveal about them? This perspective can help you detach emotionally and respond wisely. Instead of internalizing their criticism, view it as an expression of their own struggles. In the end, the Stoic approach to handling toxic people emphasizes self-awareness, boundaries, and empathy. By cultivating these qualities, you empower yourself to navigate difficult interactions with grace and resilience. Remember that you are not defined by how others treat you. Rather, you define yourself through your responses. The key to maintaining your inner peace lies in recognizing that your happiness is not contingent upon external validation. As we reflect on the teachings of Stoicism, consider how you can apply these principles in your own life. What toxic relationships can you address or redefine? How can you cultivate a mindset of gratitude and empathy? By embracing the Stoic philosophy of responding wisely, you can transform challenges into opportunities for growth and maintain your inner tranquility. Ultimately, the journey of navigating toxic relationships is about reclaiming your power. You have the ability to choose how you respond, and with each mindful choice, you strengthen your emotional resilience. By practicing self-compassion, empathy, and mindfulness, you can handle toxic individuals with grace, ensuring that their negativity does not diminish your spirit. Detaching from attachments, the power of letting go. Imagine you're sitting in a cozy cafe in Seattle, sipping your favorite coffee. You scroll through your phone and come across photos of your friends enjoying a vacation without you. Suddenly, a wave of sadness washes over you. You start to feel a pang of jealousy and a sense of exclusion. You wish you could be with them, enjoying the fun and laughter. In that moment, it's easy to forget that your happiness doesn't have to depend on the presence or absence of others. This is where the Stoic principle of detachment comes into play. The Stoics believed that attachment to people and outcomes can lead to suffering. When we become overly attached to someone, we risk allowing our happiness to hinge on their actions or presence. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher, emphasized the importance of recognizing that everything and everyone in life is temporary. He taught that we should appreciate what we have without clinging to it. He famously said, "Do not be concerned with things that are not in your control." This wisdom is particularly relevant when it comes to our relationships. Detaching from attachments doesn't mean we stop caring about others. Rather, it invites us to love without fear or possessiveness. Consider the example of a close friendship. You may cherish this person deeply, but if you find yourself feeling anxious about their whereabouts or choices, it may be time to practice detachment. Instead of viewing them as someone you must control or keep close to feel complete, recognize that they are an independent individual with their own life. This shift in perspective allows you to enjoy the friendship without the burden of possessiveness. One practical way to cultivate detachment is through mindfulness. Mindfulness encourages us to stay present with our feelings without judgment. For instance, when you feel jealousy or anxiety about a loved one's choices, take a moment to acknowledge those feelings. Instead of suppressing them, observe them with curiosity. Ask yourself, what is driving this feeling? Am I projecting my insecurities onto this situation? By doing so, you can create space between your emotions and your reactions. Let's say you have a partner who decides to pursue a new job in a different city. Your initial reaction might be fear of losing them or a sense of abandonment. However, practicing detachment means recognizing that their decision is ultimately theirs to make. You can support their choice while also focusing on your own growth and happiness. Remind yourself that your fulfillment doesn't rely on their presence, rather, it comes from within. Another effective technique for practicing detachment is to visualize the impermanence of all things. Imagine a beautiful flower in bloom. As stunning as it is, you know that it will eventually fade. This understanding allows you to appreciate its beauty without clinging to it. Similarly, visualize your relationships and possessions with the same perspective. While they bring joy, they are not permanent fixtures in your life. This realization can help you enjoy moments without becoming overly attached to them. Moreover, consider the impact of societal expectations on your attachments. In today's world, we are often bombarded with messages that equate happiness with possession, success, or social status. We might feel pressure to maintain relationships based on these external standards. However, the Stoics remind us that true happiness comes from within and is independent of external validation. Reflect on the relationships you value most. Are they based on genuine connection, or are they influenced by societal expectations? For example, let's say you have a cousin who constantly seeks validation through social media. They curate a perfect online persona, showcasing glamorous vacations and luxurious experiences. You may feel tempted to compare your life to theirs, leading to feelings of inadequacy. Instead, practice detachment by recognizing that their online presence does not define your worth. Embrace the idea that your happiness comes from your own choices and experiences, not from the curated images of others. Additionally, the Stoics teach us that attachments can lead to fear of loss. When we become overly attached to someone or something, we may develop a fear of losing them. This fear can create anxiety and hinder our ability to enjoy the present moment. By practicing detachment, we can learn to appreciate relationships without the constant worry of losing them. Consider a parent who is overly protective of their child. While love and care are essential, excessive attachment can lead to anxiety and fear of harm. Instead, a Stoic approach encourages parents to guide their children while allowing them the freedom to explore and grow. By practicing detachment, parents can enjoy their relationship with their child without the burden of constant worry. To further cultivate detachment, consider keeping a gratitude journal. Each day, write down the people and experiences you appreciate in your life. This practice helps you focus on the positive aspects of your relationships while also acknowledging that they are not the sole source of your happiness. When you recognize the abundance in your life, you become less reliant on any one person or situation for your fulfillment. Another powerful tool for practicing detachment is to engage in self-reflection. Take time to explore your feelings about relationships and possessions. Ask yourself what truly matters to you. Are there attachments that are holding you back from living authentically? By examining your values, you can prioritize what truly brings you joy and fulfillment, allowing you to let go of attachments that no longer serve you. In addition, consider the concept of amor fati, which translates to love of fate. This Stoic idea encourages us to embrace our circumstances, both good and bad. When we learn to accept life as it is, we can cultivate a sense of detachment from outcomes. Instead of resisting what we cannot change, we can approach life with curiosity and openness. For instance, if a friendship fades, instead of lamenting the loss, reflect on the lessons learned and the joy shared during that time. Embracing the love of fate allows us to see the beauty in every experience, regardless of its duration. Ultimately, detaching from attachments empowers us to live more fully in the present. By recognizing the impermanence of relationships and possessions, we can appreciate them without clinging to them. This practice fosters resilience and emotional freedom. As we navigate life's ups and downs, we become less defined by our attachments and more grounded in our own sense of self-worth. As we reflect on the Stoic teachings of detachment, consider how you can apply these principles in your own life. What relationships or possessions have you become overly attached to? How can you practice detachment while still cherishing the connections that matter most? By embracing the power of letting go, you can cultivate a more fulfilling and joyful existence, free from the burdens of attachment. Essentially, the Stoic philosophy of detachment offers profound insights into the nature of relationships and our emotional well-being. By practicing detachment, we can learn to appreciate the beauty of life without becoming ensnared by expectations or fears. Embrace the journey of letting go, and you'll discover the freedom that comes from within. Finding freedom, the joy of minimalism and letting go of stuff. Visualize a small apartment in Brooklyn, cluttered with stacks of old magazines and used kitchen gadgets and clothes that haven't been worn in years. The owner of this space, overwhelmed by the sheer volume of possessions, feels a constant sense of anxiety and chaos. Every time they enter the apartment, they are met with reminders of unfulfilled potential and the weight of unmade decisions. Now, imagine if this individual decided to embrace minimalism, letting go of the excess and focusing on what truly matters. The shift could lead not only to a more organized living space, but also to a clearer, more peaceful state of mind. The Stoics understood that material possessions can often bind us, creating attachments that distract us from what is truly important. Seneca, a prominent Stoic philosopher, articulated this beautifully when he said, "Wealth is like seawater. The more we drink, the thirstier we become." This quote encapsulates the essence of consumerism and the constant pursuit of more. Instead of finding fulfillment, we often end up feeling emptier as we chase after possessions that do not bring lasting happiness. Minimalism, at its core, is about stripping away the unnecessary to reveal the essential. It encourages individuals to evaluate their belongings critically and determine what truly adds value to their lives. The process of decluttering is not just physical, it is also emotional and psychological. By letting go of items that no longer serve a purpose, we create space for clarity and focus. Consider the example of a young professional who has amassed a collection of designer clothes and accessories, believing that these items would enhance their status and self-worth. However, over time, they realize that these possessions do little to contribute to their happiness. Instead, they find themselves spending valuable time and energy maintaining these items, leading to stress and dissatisfaction. By embracing minimalism, this individual can reevaluate their relationship with possessions and focus on what truly aligns with their values and passions. One practical step toward minimalism is conducting a thorough inventory of your belongings. Start by going through each room in your home and assessing what you truly need. Ask yourself questions like, have I used this in the past year? Or does this item bring me joy? If the answer is no, consider letting it go. This process can be liberating, allowing you to release the emotional baggage associated with unnecessary items. For instance, tackling your wardrobe can be a great starting point. Take everything out of your closet and lay it on your bed. As you go through each piece, consider its value in your life. If an item hasn't been worn in a year, it may be time to part with it. Donate clothes that no longer fit your style or serve a purpose, and you'll be surprised at how freeing it feels to create space for new experiences. Another important aspect of minimalism is recognizing the difference between needs and wants. In our consumer-driven society, we are often bombarded with advertisements that encourage us to believe that happiness lies in acquiring the latest gadgets or trendy clothing. However, the Stoics remind us that true contentment comes from within, not from external possessions. For example, think about the time you felt happiest. Was it during a lavish vacation or when you shared a meal with loved ones? The latter is a reminder that meaningful experiences often outweigh material possessions. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, wrote, "The things you think about determine the quality of your mind. Your soul takes on the color of your thoughts." This encourages us to focus on cultivating a positive mindset rather than accumulating possessions. Practicing gratitude can also enhance your journey into minimalism. Instead of yearning for more, take time to appreciate what you already have. Each day, write down 3 things you are grateful for. This simple practice helps shift your focus from scarcity to abundance, making it easier to let go of unnecessary items. Consider hosting a gratitude declutter session with friends or family. Invite them over and encourage everyone to share what they are grateful for while decluttering together. This creates a supportive environment, allowing you to bond over shared experiences while simplifying your space. Additionally, embracing the joy of minimalism often requires a mindset shift. It's essential to recognize that letting go of possessions does not mean losing a part of yourself. Instead, it opens up room for growth and new opportunities. When you release your attachment to material goods, you create space for experiences, relationships, and personal development. For instance, if you've been holding on to old hobbies or interests that no longer resonate, consider letting them go. This could mean donating craft supplies you haven't used in years or selling equipment from an activity you've outgrown. By doing so, you free yourself to explore new passions and interests that align with where you are in life now. Moreover, minimalism encourages intentional living. It allows you to make conscious choices about how you spend your time and energy. When you declutter your physical space, you often find that your mental space becomes clearer too. A less cluttered environment promotes focus and mindfulness, helping you concentrate on what truly matters. Think about how you can apply this principle to your digital life as well. In an age of information overload, our devices can quickly become cluttered with apps, emails, and notifications. Take a few moments to evaluate your digital space. Unsubscribe from newsletters that no longer serve you, delete apps that distract you, and organize your files. This digital decluttering can reduce stress and improve your productivity. As you embrace minimalism, remember that it's a journey, not a destination. It's about finding balance and aligning your possessions with your values. Minimalism isn't about deprivation, it's about making room for what truly matters. Incorporating Stoic teachings into your minimalist journey can deepen your understanding of this philosophy. The Stoics believed in the concept of preferred indifference, which refers to things that are nice to have but not essential for happiness. While it's perfectly fine to enjoy material comforts, it's crucial to remember that they do not define your worth or happiness. For example, if you enjoy having a nice car, recognize that it's a preferred indifferent. Appreciate it for what it is, but don't let your happiness hinge on it. This perspective allows you to enjoy life's pleasures without becoming enslaved to them. In essence, the joy of minimalism and letting go of stuff is a transformative journey that aligns closely with Stoic principles. By practicing detachment from material possessions, we create space for clarity, focus, and genuine fulfillment. Minimalism empowers us to prioritize what truly matters, allowing us to cultivate deeper relationships, experiences, and personal growth. As you embark on this minimalist journey, consider how letting go can lead to greater freedom and joy in your life. What possessions can you release? What values do you want to prioritize? By embracing minimalism, you can create a life that reflects your true self, unburdened by the weight of excess. Choosing your emotions, mastering your response to life's challenges. Imagine you're in a crowded subway car in New York City during rush hour. The air is hot and heavy, and you can feel the tension in the atmosphere as people jostle for space. Suddenly, someone bumps into you and mutters a rude comment. Instinctively, your heart races and your mind starts swirling with anger. You want to lash out to defend yourself, but then a thought strikes you. What if I don't have to react this way? This moment of pause is where the Stoic principle of choosing your emotional response comes into play. The Stoics believed that while we cannot control external events, we can control how we respond to them. Epictetus, a prominent Stoic philosopher, famously said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This profound understanding of human emotion is empowering. It places the responsibility for our feelings squarely on our shoulders. Instead of being at the mercy of external circumstances, we have the ability to shape our emotional landscape. In today's fast-paced world, we often find ourselves reacting automatically to stressors, whether it's a rude coworker, a traffic jam, or a missed deadline. However, the Stoics teach us that we can cultivate a space between stimulus and response. This space allows us to choose how we react rather than simply reacting out of habit or emotion. For instance, when that rude comment is directed at you in the subway, instead of letting anger take over, you might take a deep breath and choose to respond with indifference or even compassion. This shift in mindset can dramatically alter how you experience the situation. One practical way to master your emotional responses is through mindfulness. Mindfulness helps us become aware of our thoughts and feelings as they arise, allowing us to observe them without judgment. When you encounter a challenging situation, take a moment to pause and breathe. Acknowledge your feelings, whether it's anger, frustration, or sadness, but avoid letting them control your actions. By observing your emotions, you create a buffer that enables you to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. Consider a scenario where you receive critical feedback from your boss. Your initial reaction might be defensiveness or shame. However, if you practice mindfulness, you can recognize these feelings without judgment. You might say to yourself, "I feel defensive because I care about my work." This acknowledgement empowers you to take a step back and consider the feedback objectively. Instead of reacting with anger or resentment, you could respond with curiosity. What can I learn from this feedback? This shift not only protects your emotional well-being, but also helps you grow professionally. Another essential aspect of choosing your emotions is reframing your perspective. How we interpret events significantly influences our emotional responses. When faced with a setback, such as missing a deadline, it's easy to spiral into self-criticism. Instead, try reframing the situation as an opportunity for growth. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this experience? By reframing the narrative, you transform a negative situation into a valuable lesson. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This Stoic wisdom encourages us to view obstacles as opportunities. When we adopt this mindset, we can approach challenges with resilience and determination rather than fear and frustration. Let's take a real-life example of choosing emotions in the context of relationships. Imagine you're having a disagreement with a close friend. They say something hurtful and your immediate reaction is to feel betrayed and angry. However, if you pause and reflect, you might recognize that your friend is likely dealing with their own struggles. Instead of responding with hurtful words, you can choose to communicate openly about your feelings. You might say, "I felt hurt by what you said. Can we talk about it?" This approach not only fosters understanding but also strengthens the relationship in the long run. Practicing gratitude can also help you master your emotional responses. When you focus on what you're grateful for, you shift your perspective from scarcity to abundance. This shift allows you to approach life's challenges with a more positive mindset. For instance, when faced with a stressful situation, take a moment to reflect on 3 things you appreciate in your life. This practice can ground you and remind you that there are still positive aspects to focus on even in difficult times. Another powerful technique is the use of positive affirmations. Affirmations are statements that reinforce your self-worth and capabilities. When you find yourself in a challenging situation, repeat affirmations that resonate with you. For example, you might say, "I am capable of handling challenges with grace and calm." By affirming your strengths, you can cultivate confidence and resilience, making it easier to navigate emotional responses. Additionally, surrounding yourself with supportive people can significantly influence how you respond to challenges. Seek out friends and mentors who uplift and encourage you. These positive influences can help you maintain a balanced perspective and provide valuable insights when you face difficult emotions. For instance, if you're feeling overwhelmed, talking to a supportive friend can provide clarity and reassurance, reminding you that you have the strength to overcome obstacles. As you navigate life's challenges, remember that it's okay to feel a range of emotions. The Stoics did not advocate for suppressing feelings, but rather for understanding and managing them. By acknowledging your emotions and choosing how to respond, you reclaim your power and agency in any situation. Consider journaling as a tool for emotional mastery. Writing down your thoughts and feelings can provide clarity and help you process your emotions. When you encounter a challenging situation, take time to write about it. What were your initial feelings? How did you respond? Reflecting on these experiences can help you identify patterns in your emotional reactions and develop strategies for future situations. In conclusion, choosing your emotions and mastering your responses to life's challenges is a powerful Stoic practice that empowers you to navigate life with grace and resilience. By incorporating mindfulness, reframing, gratitude, and positive affirmations into your daily routine, you can cultivate a mindset that allows you to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. As you embrace this journey, consider how you can apply these Stoic principles in your own life. What situations challenge your emotional responses? How can you reframe your perspective and choose a more empowering response? Remember, you have the power to shape your emotional landscape, and with each mindful choice, you can create a life filled with greater peace and fulfillment. Ultimately, the journey of mastering your emotions is about reclaiming your inner strength. By practicing the Stoic principles of emotional choice, you can cultivate resilience, foster meaningful relationships, and navigate life's challenges with confidence. Embrace the power of choice, and you'll discover the freedom that comes from within. Embracing mortality, living fully by accepting death. Imagine standing on a beautiful beach in Miami, the sun dipping below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink. As you watch the waves crash against the shore, a sense of peace washes over you. Yet, amid this moment of tranquility, a thought flickers in your mind. Life is fleeting. The awareness of your mortality can be unsettling, but what if you could embrace it as a catalyst for living more fully? This is the essence of the Stoic teaching on mortality. The Stoics believed that accepting the reality of death is essential for living a meaningful life. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, wrote in his Meditations, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." This profound reminder encourages us to reflect on our mortality and consider how it shapes our choices and actions. By acknowledging that our time is limited, we can cultivate a sense of urgency to live authentically and purposefully. In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to become caught up in the mundane routines of life. We often find ourselves postponing our dreams, waiting for the right moment to pursue our passions. However, the Stoics remind us that life is unpredictable and the future is never guaranteed. Instead of delaying our aspirations, we should take proactive steps to live in alignment with our values and desires. Consider the story of a woman named Sarah who spent years dreaming of traveling the world. She meticulously saved money and planned every detail of her trips, but life kept getting in the way: work commitments, family obligations, and unexpected challenges. One day, she received news that a close friend had passed away unexpectedly. This heartbreaking experience prompted Sarah to reevaluate her priorities. She realized that if she continued to wait for the perfect time, she might never embark on her adventures. Inspired by the Stoic principle of embracing mortality, she decided to book a spontaneous trip to a destination she had always wanted to explore. This choice not only brought her joy but also reminded her of the importance of living fully in the present. Embracing mortality encourages us to confront our fears and take risks. We often avoid pursuing our passions due to fear of failure or rejection. However, the Stoics teach us that fear is often rooted in our perception of outcomes. Instead of fearing death, we can shift our focus to living virtuously and embracing the present moment. Epictetus said, "It's not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live." This quote serves as a powerful reminder that the fear of mortality should not paralyze us but motivate us to take action. When we accept that life is finite, we can push past our fears and pursue what truly matters to us. To cultivate this mindset, consider keeping a mortality journal. In this journal, reflect on your feelings about death and the impermanence of life. Write down your dreams, goals, and aspirations. Ask yourself, if I were to die tomorrow, what would I regret not having done? This exercise can provide clarity on what you truly value and inspire you to take action. Another practical way to embrace mortality is to practice mindfulness and gratitude. When we cultivate awareness of the present moment, we become more attuned to the beauty and richness of life. Each day, take time to appreciate the little things: a warm cup of coffee, a beautiful sunset, or a heartfelt conversation with a friend. By focusing on gratitude, we shift our perspective from fear of loss to appreciation for what we have. For example, imagine you're sitting with your family during a holiday meal. Instead of worrying about potential conflicts or future gatherings, take a moment to savor the experience. Engage in meaningful conversations, share laughter, and create lasting memories. By being fully present, you honor the fragility of life and cultivate deeper connections with those you love. Moreover, embracing mortality can also lead to a greater sense of purpose. When we acknowledge that our time is limited, we are compelled to reflect on how we want to spend our lives. What legacy do we want to leave behind? What impact do we want to have on the world? This introspection can guide our decisions and inspire us to contribute positively to the lives of others. Consider the example of a man named David who worked in a corporate job for years. He felt unfulfilled and disconnected from his true passions. After experiencing the loss of a family member, he realized that life is too short to spend in a job that didn't resonate with him. With a newfound sense of urgency, he decided to pursue his lifelong dream of becoming a musician. David started taking lessons, writing songs, and performing at local venues. Through this transformation, he discovered not only his passion but also a deeper sense of fulfillment. Stoic philosophy teaches us that we can find meaning in our lives by living in accordance with our values. When we embrace mortality, we become more intentional about how we spend our time and energy. We can prioritize relationships, engage in meaningful work, and contribute to our communities. This commitment to living purposefully allows us to create a legacy that extends beyond our physical existence. Additionally, accepting mortality can foster resilience in the face of adversity. Life is filled with challenges, and when we acknowledge that suffering is a natural part of the human experience, we become better equipped to navigate hardships. Instead of fearing loss or pain, we can approach difficult situations with a sense of acceptance and strength. For instance, when faced with a job loss or a breakup, we can remind ourselves that these experiences are part of life's journey. Rather than allowing ourselves to be consumed by despair, we can focus on what we can learn from the situation. As Marcus Aurelius said, "The universe is change, our life is what our thoughts make it." By reframing our thoughts, we can cultivate resilience and adapt to life's uncertainties. To further embrace mortality, consider engaging in conversations about death with loved ones. While it may feel uncomfortable, discussing our fears and beliefs about death can foster deeper connections and understanding. These conversations can also encourage us to express our love and appreciation for one another, creating a sense of closure and connection. In conclusion, embracing mortality is a powerful Stoic practice that encourages us to live fully and authentically. By acknowledging the impermanence of life, we can cultivate a sense of urgency to pursue our passions, deepen our relationships, and contribute positively to the world around us. Through mindfulness, gratitude, and intentional living, we can transform our fear of death into a catalyst for growth and fulfillment. As you reflect on your own relationship with mortality, consider how you can apply these Stoic principles in your life. What dreams have you been putting off? How can you embrace the present moment more fully? By choosing to live with awareness and purpose, you can create a meaningful legacy that transcends the limitations of time. Ultimately, the journey of embracing mortality is about reclaiming the power to shape your life. When you accept that life is finite, you free yourself from the constraints of fear and uncertainty. Embrace the richness of each moment, and you'll discover the joy that comes from living fully and authentically. As we conclude our journey through the profound teachings of Stoicism, it's essential to reflect on the key insights we've explored together. Throughout this video, we've examined 7 Stoic strategies that empower us to break free from the chains of modern life. From radical acceptance and enduring pain to mastering our emotional responses and embracing mortality, each principle offers valuable tools for navigating life's challenges with grace and resilience. The wisdom of the Stoics reminds us that while we cannot control external events, we have full authority over our thoughts, reactions, and ultimately, our happiness. By practicing radical acceptance, we learn to embrace life's uncertainties without resistance. Enduring pain teaches us that challenges can be opportunities for growth, and mastering our emotional responses empowers us to choose how we react to the world around us. Moreover, by detaching from unhealthy attachments and embracing the transient nature of life, we free ourselves to live more authentically. As you go about your daily life, consider how you can implement these Stoic principles. Reflect on the areas where you feel stuck or overwhelmed. What changes can you make to cultivate a sense of peace and fulfillment? Remember the words of Marcus Aurelius, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this and you will find strength. Now is the time to take action. Embrace radical acceptance by letting go of the need for control in situations beyond your influence. Practice enduring pain by reframing challenges as opportunities for growth. Choose your emotional responses thoughtfully, focusing on gratitude and mindfulness. Finally, acknowledge the beauty of life's impermanence, using it as motivation to live fully and authentically. We invite you to embark on this Stoic journey with us. If you found value in this content, we encourage you to subscribe to the Stoic Viva channel for more insights and practical applications of Stoic philosophy in your everyday life. Join our community of like-minded individuals who are committed to living with intention and resilience. Your engagement makes a difference. Like this video and share it with friends and family who may benefit from these teachings. Together, we can spread the wisdom of Stoicism and inspire others to embrace a life of greater fulfillment and purpose. Let's continue to explore how Stoic principles can shape our lives, helping us navigate the complexities of the modern world with confidence and clarity. Thank you for being part of this journey. Remember, the power to transform your life lies within you. Embrace these Stoic teachings and you'll uncover the strength to face any challenge that comes your way. Live fully, love deeply, and be true to yourself.